John Malkovich.
John Gavin Malkovich is an American actor, producer, director, and fashion designer. Over the last 30 years of his career, Malkovich has appeared in more than 70 motion pictures. For his roles in Places in the Heart and In the Line of Fire, he received Academy Award nominations. He has also appeared in well-received films such as Empire of the Sun, The Killing Fields, Dangerous Liaisons, Of Mice and Men, Being John Malkovich, Burn After Reading, Red, and Warm Bodies, as well as producing numerous films, including Juno and The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Early life.
Malkovich was born in Christopher, Illinois. His paternal grandparents were Croatian, natives of Ozalj. His mother had French, German, Scottish, and English ancestry. He grew up in Benton, Illinois, in a large house on South Main Street. His father, Daniel Leon Malkovich, was a state conservation director and publisher of Outdoor Illinois, a conservation magazine. His mother, Joanne Nachhasa, owned the Benton Evening News, as well as Outdoor Illinois. Malkovich has 3 younger sisters and an older brother. Malkovich attended Logan Grade School, Webster Junior High School, and Benton Consolidated High School. During his high school years, he appeared in various plays and the musical, Carousel. He was also a member of a folk rock musical trio, and was a member of a local summer theatre comedy project where he co-starred in Jean-Claude Van Italy's America Hurrah in 1972. Upon graduating high school, he entered Eastern Illinois University, and then transferred to Illinois State University, where he majored in theatre.
Career.
In 1976, Malkovich, along with Joan Allen, Gary Sinise, and Glenn Headley, became a charter member of the Steppenwolf Theatre Company in Chicago. He moved to New York City in 1980 to appear in the Steppenwolf production of the Sam Shepard play True West, for which he won an Obie Award. In early 1982, he appeared in A Streetcar Named Desire with Chicago's Wisdom Bridge Theatre. Malkovich then directed a Steppenwolf co-production, the 1984 revival of Lanford Wilson's Barman Jalid, for which he received a second Obie Award and a Drama Desk Award. His Broadway debut that year was as Biff in Death of a Salesman alongside Dustin Hoffman as Willie. Malkovich won an Emmy Award for this role when the play was adapted for television by CBS in 1985. One of the actor's first film roles was as an extra alongside Allen, Terry Kinney, George Wendt and Laurie Metcalf in Robert Altman's 1978 film A Wedding. He made his feature film debut in 1984 as Sally Field's blind boarder Mr. Will in Places in the Heart. For his portrayal of Mr. Will, Malkovich received his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. He also portrayed Al Rakoff in The Killing Fields. He continued to have steady work in films such as Empire of the Sun, directed by Steven Spielberg, and the 1987 film adaptation of Tennessee Williams's The Glass Menagerie with Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward. A few years later, Malkovich became a star when he portrayed the sinister and sensual varmint in the 1988 film Dangerous Liaisons, a film adaptation of the stage play Les Liaisons Dangereuses by Christopher Hampton, who in turn had adapted it from the 1782 novel of the same title by Pierre Caudelos de Laclos. He later reprised this role for the music video of Walking on Broken Glass by Annie Lennox. In 1990, he recited, in Croatian, verses of the Croatian national anthem Lijepa naša domovina, Our Beautiful Homeland, in Nenad Bach's song Can We Go Higher? Morten Foldaras. Malkovich starred in the 1992 film adaptation of John Steinbeck's award-winning novella Of Mice and Men as Lenny alongside Gary Sinise as George. In 1994, he was nominated for another Oscar, in the same category, for In the Line of Fire. Though he played the title role in the Charlie Kaufman-penned Being John Malkovich, he played a slight variation of himself, as indicated by the character's middle name of Horatio. Malkovich has a cameo in the movie adaptation, also written by Kaufman, appearing as himself during the filming of Being John Malkovich. The Dancer Upstairs, Malkovich's directorial film debut, was released in 2002. Recent film roles include The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Beowulf, Burn After Reading, Changeling, Red and Secretariat. Malkovich has hosted 3 episodes of the NBC sketch show Saturday Night Live. The first occasion was in January 1989 with musical guest Anita Baker. The second in October 1993 with musical guest Billy Joel, and special appearance by former cast member Jan Hooks. And the third was in December 2008 with musical guest T.I. with Swizz Beatz, and special appearances by Justin Timberlake, Molly Sims and Jamie Lynn Sigler. In keeping with his Renaissance man image, he created his own fashion company, Mrs. Mudd, in 2002. The company released its John Malkovich menswear collection, Uncle Kimono, in 2003, which was subsequently covered in international press, and its second clothing line, Techno Bohemian, in 2010. Malkovich designed the outfits himself. In a 2008 interview on College Hour, Malkovich revealed that he has been discussing making a motion picture adaptation of the Armin Grunberg novel The Story of My Boldness. In 2008, Malkovich portrayed the story of Jack Unterweger in a performance for one actor, 2 sopranos, and period orchestra entitled Seduction and Despair, which premiered at Barnum Hall in Santa Monica, CA. A fully staged version of the production, entitled The Infernal Comedy, premiered in Vienna in July 2009. The show has since been performed in 2009, 2010, 2011 and 2012 throughout Europe, North America and South America. In November 2009, Malkovich appeared in an advertisement for Nespresso with fellow actor George Clooney. He portrayed Quentin Turnbull in the film adaptation of Jonah Hex. In 2011, Malkovich directed Julian Sands in A Celebration of Harold Pinter and the Pleasance Courtyard, Edinburgh for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. In 2012 he directed a production of a newly adapted French-language version of Les Liaisons Dangereuses for the Théâtre de l'Atelier in Paris. The production has a limited engagement in July 2013 at the Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts in New York City. Malkovich is known for his distinctive voice, which The Guardian describes as a reedy, faintly orgasmic drawl.
Personal life.
Malkovich was married to actress Glenn Headley from 1982 to 1988. They divorced after Malkovich became involved with Michelle Pfeiffer. He later met his long-term partner Nicoletta Piran on the set of The Sheltering Sky, where she was the second assistant director, in 1989. They have 2 children, Amandine and Louis. Malkovich is fluent in French, and for nearly 10 years lived and worked in a theatre in southern France. He and his family left France in a dispute over taxes in 2003, and since then he has lived in Cambridge, Massachusetts. In a 2008 interview on The Late Show with David Letterman, Malkovich said he had just spent 5 weeks that summer living in France. Malkovich lost millions in Bernard Madoff's Ponzi scheme when it collapsed in 2008. Malkovich has raised funds for the Steppenwolf Theatre Company, his sole charity. Malkovich stated in a 2011 interview that "I am not a political person actually, and I don't have an ideology." He also said that he had not voted since George McGovern lost his presidential run in 1972. However, according to actor William Hootkins, who worked with Malkovich in BBC Television's Rocket to the Moon, Malkovich is so right-wing you have to wonder if he's kidding. When asked in an interview with the Toronto Star whether it was necessary to have spiritual beliefs to portray a spiritual character, he said, "No, I'd say not. I'm an atheist. I wouldn't say I'm without spiritual belief particularly, or rather, specifically. Maybe I'm agnostic, but I'm not quite sure there's some great creator somehow controlling everything and giving us free will. I don't know. It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me." In a 2002 appearance at the Cambridge Union Society, when asked whom he would most like to fight to the death, Malkovich replied that he would rather just shoot journalist Robert Fisk and British MP George Galloway. Both Fisk and Galloway reacted with outrage. On June 6, 2013, Malkovich saved a 77-year-old man's life after the man tripped in the streets of Toronto, slashing his throat on scaffolding as he fell. Malkovich appeared and applied pressure to the man's neck before the man was rushed to a hospital, where he received stitches.
Filmography. Director:
The Dancer Upstairs, 2002, Hideous Man, 2002.
Writer:
Hideous Man, 2002.
Producer:
The Accidental Tourist, 1988, Executive Producer, Ghost World, 2001, The Dancer Upstairs, 2002, The Libertine, 2004, Kill the Poor, 2006, Art School Confidential, 2006, Juno, 2007, Young Adult, 2011, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, 2012, Chavez, 2013.